Uh, hey, hi Tasha.
Hi, Sean. Hi, everybody in Facebook land or
Hey
YouTube,
everybody.
wherever you're
Whenever they come on in, uh, we are Tasha and Sharon, the accountability queens. Welcome to the AQ chat. We're going to give people some time to get on,
I'm
and we're going
watching
to start
comments.
our watch parties right now. I finally get to do this right. Seriously, I'm not writing it in there.
Oh yeah, let's start the watch party.
Yes, starting the watch party. There you go.
Here's my.
All right.
Oh yeah, let's start.
There you go. It's a weird thing because it can't start until after we start, right. And then we have to stop to do it. So, but anyway, we are the accountability queens. What we do, Tasha and I have been accountability partners for 9 years now. And what we do is we help people find their ideal accountability partner and help you all navigate a relationship. Now, what that means for some people who are like, well, what is an accountability partner? Because someone asked me that. Like sometimes I think because you and I talk about it so much that we think that people just know what that is. And yeah, I think someone asked me like, what is that, a diet? Like,
is it a challenge?
Is this a challenge?
Challenge you're doing? What did you tell them?
I said no. I said we come together, we help identify our goals, and we help each other hold each other accountable to meeting those goals. And we've been able to meet all of our goals that we've set for ourselves. And so we continue to set new ones and make them. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it now. I didn't know that had a name.
Nice.
Right?
If you guys are joining us, let us know that you're, part of this conversation. We want it to be interactive. And so I'm watching the comments. So just drop me a hello and let me know where you're listening in from. And then throughout the conversation, make sure you just drop any questions that you have so we can address them.
Definitely want to hear from you. So that conversation with him led us to this quote: accountability separates the wishers in life from the action takers. Oh Lord, I can't read on Facebook Live. Have mercy. All right. Jesus.
Try it again. Go.
Eyes. It's my eyes. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have your glasses on tonight. That's what we're going to go with.
It is true. All right. Accountability separates the wishers in life from the action takers that care enough about their future to account for their daily actions. Yeah. That's what it is. We're not just wishing to do stuff. We're just not talking about it. We actually get out there and do it. And Tasha is the best at keeping me accountable for sure.
And we do have daily actions.
We do have daily actions. Well, and even if we don't have daily actions, we probably just have a daily talk. Yeah. But we do have daily.
I got daily actions.
Speaking of, your entire house is in school.
Yeah, so the topic tonight, this unequally disconnected, right? Virtual school. I have an 8-year-old who is in 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
I
started my MBA program, and my husband is in law school.
Yeah. And then there's the 3-year-old and the 2-year-old in the house too.
Well, so he's 0.9 because he's having a birthday on Monday.
Okay. Well, are they both going to be 3 at the same time?
No, Dennis will be turning 4.
Oh, Dennis will be turning 4. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your entire house.
Educational requirements too, right? And obviously it's virtual because we aren't like going to the library for story time, or we aren't going out of the house for anything. So yeah, right. They're essentially doing some virtual learning as well. Yeah.
So how's it going?
It is quite a schedule to keep because I work full time. So I can't be a full-time teacher for my 2nd grader.
Right.
And so it is a group effort. She's got a few people that kind of help her out with her schedule because, they expect that our kids are on Zoom all day long, just like they would be in school all day long.
Wow.
And, I've taken the pressure off of myself to say it's just not something that fits within my household. we're going to do what we can and make sure that she gets the best out of the time that she is available. But all day on Zoom, it just doesn't work in my household. So she has specials, right? PE, art, music in the morning typically, and they're only a half hour. And so I block out that half hour during work, and I'll pop out of my office, go do the special with her, and then come back.
Yeah.
Except now I have a standing meeting at work during one of her specialist times. So I've enlisted my brother, Uncle Keith, will be coming over to my house once a week to do art with his niece.
Now, let me ask.
Yeah.
Your daughter has special needs. Does it make it even more challenging, do you think? I mean, what are the challenges?
I think the Zoom part is definitely challenging because there's not a connection there, for her. She can hear that there's something going on, but I don't know that she's connected to look at the screen or she's paying attention to the screen. So we just typically use Zoom for the adults that are in the room supporting her and her classmates as well. So, and then in the afternoon, she's got a one-on-one aide that comes to the house to do school with her. And that has been going really well. Definitely a blessing to have, found this young lady to help Peyton. So it's a schedule to keep, but we're doing it. Yeah, with her. And then with Dennis and I, we've also, not that we had a bunch of free time anyway, but we've sort of split up our week, so there's 2 days during the week that he works at night.
Yeah.
And I sort of, watch the kids, and there's the other 2 days at night that I work and do homework and that sort of thing.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's busy over here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Which leads us to our next guest, or to our guest today, Tondalaya Takapu.
Yeah.
Club Lab Rascals. And you've known Tondalaya for a while now.
I think she's been in DC for 10 years. I'm going to go with, I've known her for 9 years or 8 years. We'll let her help because you know how my memory works, right?
I know.
She also has a very busy household. Tondalaya is a full-time Air Force. She's a wife, and she's got 2 boys. So virtual school for her as well. Also, both parents are working full time. And so it's a hard schedule to keep. I'm sure that all parents find it very difficult to kind of, run school and keep your kids engaged, because typically school can also be an outlet for them, right? They're running, they're moving, they're leaving the house. And so
an outlet for you too.
Hello. Yeah. We also have to find those extracurricular things, which are also now becoming virtual, right? Which is what we're going to talk to Tondalaya about tonight. And she does some STEM activities with her kids. And I remember when this first started, and she started in her living room with just some friends, and we were a set of those friends that came over, and Dennis was really little. But she was able to really keep the kids engaged, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see the growth in her program.
Listen, if you guys have been watching or seen our post this week, we posted the video that she did. I mean, it looks like amazing fun for a little person.
I mean, I think I might have been interested in science if I had been exposed to STEM at a young age,
Yeah. I think
I hated chemistry and science and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had a teacher who made it fun, it's always about the teacher.
Yeah.
It's always about the teacher and who's making it fun. So without further ado, let's bring Tondalaya, aka T, aka the founder of Club Rascals, on. Hi, Tondalaya.
Hi, Tasha. Hi, Sharon. Thank you.
How are you?
I am good.
So, Tondalaya, you are a mom and you're in the military. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
And your kids how old are your kids?
I have 2 boys. They're 6 and 4.
6 and 4, and they're in virtual school. How's everyone doing in the virtual school in your house?
So actually, we were in virtual school, and it just didn't really work for our household. So we actually decided to homeschool our children. So we took a different route.
Okay.
So this is our first year actually homeschooling our children, and it's actually it's very fun. It's very interesting, and it has so much flexibility, and we really like it so far.
Okay, now so what does that mean?
I was gonna say that's a whole nother conversation because I got a bunch of questions.
What does that mean when you all are homeschooling and you both work full time? Like, what? Yeah, what is that?
Oh, so basically, we were able to, with homeschool, you have so much freedom. They're still learning language arts and grammar and phonics and mathematics, but we're learning at a different pace, like the pace that works for our family. So there is no like you have to do this lesson at this time. We do what works for our family. So that could mean like today, we were doing a lesson today on a Saturday. It could mean that we didn't do a lesson on Friday because my child had a dental appointment. So we just have a lot of flexibility, and we really get to do like meet our child where they are.
Okay.
So my 6-year-old went to Spanish immersion school last year for kindergarten. And once we started homeschooling and we were just really trying to see where he was at, he's in the 1st grade. So he was in 2nd grade mathematics. He's really good at math. I think it's just our household. So he's really good at math. But in English, with his sight words and stuff, we noticed that he learned them in Spanish. So we're going to have to go back to kindergarten when it comes to phonics and English.
Oh, wow.
So that's one of the great things about homeschool, that we're able to, meet him where he is, instead of just being like, okay, this is the 1st grade curriculum. This is what you're going to get. Yeah. So for math, he's advanced. For English and phonics, he's, a grade level, a little behind where his peers probably were, just because he learned it in Spanish. So it's flexibility. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So how do you and Rocky hold each other accountable?
And Rocky is your
husband.
Oh, yes. So Rocky is my husband, my king. So we hold each other accountable because we don't have a choice, So and I will not be facetious. We do have a situation. We're very privileged. So we have a nanny. So our nanny helps us a lot, but we manage our child's curriculum. We manage what they learn, and then a lot of times she's executing certain subjects. She really teaches the math and phonics, and we do the science, the history, the social studies. We really focus on that ourselves.
Nice.
And how we hold each other accountable. We have like family meetings. We have family meetings on Sundays, and we kind of talk about like big things going on for the week. I might have a lot of big meetings. He might be like, oh, I'm gonna have a long week this week, so I'm not gonna be able to do as much as I was able to do last week, and vice versa. So we kind of had these little Sunday meetings where we really talk about what's going on with our family this week.
Nice.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, it seems like, you mentioned the whole math thing, that it's in your house is kind of where your kids get it from, right?
Kind of. Yeah. I think kids know whatever you teach them. And I think because we like math and science, they like it. If I like cooking, they probably know how to cook. So that's where we fall off. So I definitely think it's like kids kind of know whatever you expose them to.
Yeah.
And so you guys have exposed your kids to STEM, right?
Absolutely. From the beginning. Yes.
And this is how Lab Rascals started?
Yes. So Lab Rascals started because we live in Prince George's County, Maryland, right outside of DC. We absolutely love it. I hope this is my forever home. I'm hoping. But we love it here. And the reason we moved here was because of the diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working in Virginia, and we could have moved to Virginia, but there wasn't a lot of diversity in Virginia. And we just didn't really want our kids to be the only minorities in their class. Like, we didn't want them to be, the Black kid, So we decided to move to Prince George's County because we just love it. We're surrounded by a lot of people that look like us that are, phenomenal, doing great, professionals. But the thing about it is we started like going to science centers and, museums, and just because we just really wanted to expose them to this. This is when they were like 4 and 2. And I was driving all the way to DC or driving in the city, finding parking. I was going to Virginia. Virginia has a lot.
Right.
I'm driving an hour away just to expose my kids to this. And I was just like, how do I live in this phenomenal county, in this phenomenal area that has the greatest number of African Americans that make 6 figures in Prince George's County in the US? I said, why am I driving an hour for this? And
Right.
I'm just gonna do it myself. So I just started like the STEM Saturdays, and my kids were in daycare. One of them was in preschool. So I just invited Tasha. I'm like, who got kids? I'm gonna invite the people that have kids. So it just started off. We would just do random little projects, and Tasha's kids were a little younger, but they came and we learned, how to mix colors and how to mix oil and water, and we made robots. And I went to graduate school, and once I left graduate school, I was like, maybe this could make it outside of my living room. And that's when it actually became like, okay, legit. Okay, we're doing this. So that was just we started in January of 2018. I graduated in August of 2019. And then we actually officially started, like, got our LLC and everything, and the end of 2019. And we were in the schools, like inside of a school, in January of 2020.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That's awesome. Now, what did you get, just for background, because where did you get your master's degree in? Because how did science come into play? Like, I do science.
I actually got, so my background in the Air Force, I do cyber. I'm a cyber analyst. So I really understand how cybersecurity works. I understand how networks work. So I definitely understand. And I went to Georgia Tech for a semester. I was going to get my master's in computer science. And I realized that, I'm not passionate about this. I really don't like this. And it was kind of one of those things where I just wanted to prove my credibility, because I work with all engineers, and I was like, I'm going to go get this computer science degree so I can prove that, I have this STEM degree. And I hated it.
Oh, wow.
And I felt like a failure, honestly. I felt like, oh my gosh, everyone was so proud of you for getting into Georgia Tech, and now you're going to drop out after one semester. And my husband just like, if you don't like this, who cares what anyone thinks? Like, don't do it. Don't try to, because if I start something, I'm the type, like, I have to finish. I feel like a failure if I don't finish. So that was really the first time that, like, it was really hard, but I did something and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I can't continue. I can't do 4 years of this, and I hate it.
Right.
And then I transferred to UVA, University of Virginia.
Yeah.
Master's. I was in an executive master's program where I was driving to Charlottesville every weekend for a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and I got it in IT management, and I absolutely loved it. Loved everything about it. It was just like, okay, this is what you were supposed to be doing.
Nice.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Nice. So we got the background.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to Lab Rascals, because I want to talk about your blog post. And so Lab Rascals, there's a question, is there a website? There is a website. It's clublabrascals.com.
Yes, www.clublabrascals.com. We are also very active on Instagram at Club Lab Rascals. We're beefing up our Facebook, but we're not on Facebook as much. We need to move over to this community, because we know it's a lot of parents in this community as well.
Yeah.
We can help you out.
So last month on your blog post, you wrote an article entitled, How Virtual Learning Widens the Education Gap for Low-Income Students.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like for you just to talk a little bit about what Lab Rascals is doing to close that gap.
Well, I mean, if you just look historically at the resources that are put into mostly minority, but inner city schools or school districts that just don't have that large tax bases coming in, the resources are not even parallel to the resources that you would get in a more prestigious school system. So now that we've switched to virtual, you have parents like, me and Tasha, while we sit here and talk about, our nannies and how we work from home and how we're able to take a break to help our kids, we're still speaking, even though we're Black, we're still speaking from a place of privilege.
Yes.
And a lot of low income people, they don't have that opportunity to just take off work and sit there with their child.
Right.
They have the resources to hire someone to sit with their child.
Right.
So even though school is actually it's a place of childcare. Your child is learning while they're being taken care of, so you can go provide. So parents that cannot work from home and be home with their kids now, they're in situations where they're trying to. A lot of kids are staying home by themselves, and it's up to the kids to do work. And if you have an elementary school kid that's doing this virtual thing, because we did do it last year, like you can't lead them to do it you almost have to sit next to them the whole time for them to pay attention. So it's like two jobs. So it just has widened the gap, in my opinion, just because a lot of well-off people, they are doing learning pods, so they will get a group of parents and hire a tutor, because they know that with distance learning, it can be a gap, right?
Yeah.
So they're hiring tutors, or they're creating their own schools with these pods. But that's just not an opportunity for a lot of parents that are low income. So
right. And so you talked about, Prince George's County having the most amount of African Americans that make six figures. On the opposite end, the wealthiest, right?
The wealthiest.
In the same breath, we also have a huge population of low-income African-American families, Black and brown families here in Prince George's County, right? And so,
absolutely.
You talk about affluent school systems. Prince George's County is not one of them. And even the Chromebooks that they did pass out to our kids, in my mind, I thought they were ordering brand new Chromebooks because they had to order so many of them. But when I picked up my daughter's Chromebook, it wasn't brand new. And I'm like, what have they been using this for? And, who else has been using this? And where has this been? And what is this? But I mean, we took it, we used it because we needed it for her, but it is a struggle, right? And I think even on the county town halls, they've talked about the number of students in Prince George's County that don't have access to internet.
Right.
Mind blowing to me. I would never have even imagined that, right? Because I am coming from a place of privilege. I will say that the school system has done a really good job, Sharon. I don't know if you know this, but if you don't have access to internet, most people do have television. PG County Public Schools has some school on TV as an outlet from the public television station. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I haven't looked into it. It's not appropriate for us, but they have, tried to come up with some options for students to help.
Yeah. And I think in North Carolina, they were giving internet service to families with young children who didn't have it. I mean, and I wouldn't say though, to some sense, in fairness to some of these school systems, nobody was prepared for this.
Absolutely.
Nobody saw this happening, right? So I want to be mindful. I want to be respectful of the teachers too, right? Because they're like,
what
just happened?
Yeah, I still have kids that are homeschooling as well. So
I'm going to shout out Prince George's County because that's the county that I know about, and my daughter's school and her principal and her teachers and the special education department for Prince George's County. I feel like they've done a really great job, all things considered, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I actually think because I'm in the military, I have friends that live all over the country. So friends with kids in different school districts. And actually, even some of my friends that have kids in very affluent school districts, PG County, their planning was better than a lot of the other schools. Like even when we started in March, they issued Chromebooks in March. They were issuing computers in March. We had a schedule in March. So I feel like the new CEO of Prince George's County Public Schools, I think she's doing a tremendous job. But I think a big part of it, like when you think about virtual learning, it's not just about having access to the resource. If I have to work, if I'm not available to sit there with my child, that can be pretty stressful. And I don't know if we're going to get into it, but I think the impact of virtual learning has an impact on our children as well, because some of these kids are in front of a computer from 9:30 to 3:30 p.m. So now you're getting kids, and typically elementary school kids, that's why I love this age group. They typically love learning. They love school. It's still fun to them. They still hug their teachers, when they're in elementary school. But now you're getting kids that hate school. They hate going to school. They hate getting on a computer. And it's like, once that, like, how are we going to stop that? How are we going to change that mindset? Because we don't want our children to think of education as something that they don't want to do, that they're not interested in. And I think Lab Rascals, we kind of change it a little bit. And that's definitely one of the things that I think people really love about our program, because a lot of kids, we really get them interested in learning, and we are definitely a little bit different than going to school, because initially a lot of kids, when they first start, they're like, I don't want to do this virtual thing. I am tired of the computer. I don't want to do it. But we just make it so fun and so interesting that they actually look forward to it. Our students, like, some of our rascals have calendars, and they're like, Mom, is it Lab Rascals that it's Thursday? Why? We should be in camp. They love it. Like, they love it. They actually enjoy coming. And that's just because we do hands-on projects. They just have fun, and they see other kids having fun. And it's just a lot of Black and brown kids that look like them, that's interested in what they're interested in. And then they see me, or they see an instructor that looks like them. We bring in professional engineers, scientists, pharmacists, doctors, meteorologists. We bring in all of these people in whatever the camp theme is. We bring in those professionals that look like them, and they talk to them. So when they close their eyes and they say, what does an engineer look like? They're going to picture those people that we brought in.
Right.
The doctor. So we're just kind of showing them at a very young age, like, okay, this is what a doctor looks like. This is what a scientist looks like. So it's not something that's just like someone that totally doesn't look like you. So you're like, oh, that's not for me. I'm going to play football or basketball. That's saying that you can't do that. But it's like, now that's all, like, that's what a lot of our kids see at a young age as far as success.
That is it. So what's the response been from parents?
Oh my God. I wish I could just show you my DMs, or go on our page and see the comments, or, parents love Lab Rascals. Parents love it. They're just like, I thought this was just going to be another camp. No, this is phenomenal. The content is phenomenal.
Great.
They love it. They really love it. They just think it's something that our community really needs.
Okay.
And it's actually, like, I'm not gonna, like, we actually, like, take other camps just to see what our competitors are doing. And one camp, it's a really big company. We had to log off. My kids was like, Mommy, this is so boring. It was 1,000 kids on there. It was 1,000 kids.
Wow.
We were on Zoom, but it was one way, so it was more like a webinar. We do two-way. I know all the kids' names. I call them by name. We shout them out, so they feel like, okay, I'm really part of this. Like,
good.
Yeah, so they feel like, oh, and they like Miss T, and I think that's a little different than, a kid getting on a webinar and they're just like seeing YouTube videos.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna. So how many kids do you have, like, in one class?
So typically we have about 30 households, but we don't charge per student. We charge per household, because you're on the same log on, right?
Right.
So typically we have 30 households, usually about maybe 40 kids. We've put through, in 2020, over 220 kids have been through our program. Yes.
Nice.
So kids totally love Lab Rascals. We sell out. Every single camp has sold out. And we always have people like, can I get in? And I'm like, I just really I don't want it to be to the point where I can't talk to the kids till we have instructions. So we won't let it get too big to where we can't talk to them and see their project and see if they're messing up. And we ask them questions during the labs and stuff like that.
So you mentioned competition and large companies.
Mm-hmm.
Write your own curriculum, or are you using a set curriculum?
Oh, absolutely not. We write our own curriculum, and we are like honestly, I think I honestly don't think we have competition. I really think that we are the best in what we do. I think what makes us unique is, Tasha, you have kids. So one thing about kids, they learn when you expose them to something over time. So what a lot of these programs do, they'll have like today you're doing slime, tomorrow you're doing, marshmallow counting, the next day you're doing something. So it's just fun. It's like watching a YouTube video. So the kid will have fun, but they're not going to remember. We do themes. So we stay on one subject for an entire month. And during that month, we're going to keep constantly reinforcing stuff. So just for example, our last camp was engineering and we did renewable energy. So in 1 month, we learned about 4 types of renewable energy. We learned about water, hydro energy. So we made a water wheel. We learned about wind power. So we learned about what's the difference between a windmill and a wind turbine. Even adults don't know that, but
Right.
we tell kids that. A windmill is mechanical, and that's what you typically see on a farm. A wind turbine, and when you typically hear turbine, that means it's going to be converting wind to electricity. So usually when you see wind turbines, you see a lot of them, and they look like fans. They're thinner.
I saw it in the desert in California.
Yes, so that's like a wind turbine, and that's going to be converting wind to electricity. So we made our own car. We learned about solar power. We made our own. We built a solar car. We built a solar oven. We learned biomass, how you can take natural waste and turn it into a natural gas, such as a lot of our like waste management, our trash companies are doing that now. They're converting our trash into natural gas, and they're powering their vehicles. So our 5th graders, 4th graders, kindergartners, and through the whole process, the first day we learn the engineering design process. So every time we do a project, we go through the engineering design process. So I can call my 4-year-old in here right now and say, what's this first step of the engineering design process? And he's going to know because we did it every single time. And they get worksheets. Every lesson we give worksheets. And our worksheets we do, since it's K through 5, we have like our younger worksheets where they're just circling a picture or something because they can't read. They're early readers. And then we have our advanced worksheets for our older kids where it's like, okay, we really want to see if you know this stuff. So I feel like we're hands down, no one else is doing this. Like, who's doing this? And who's doing this for Black kids? Who's doing this when your kids not like Black and brown kids, where your kid's not going to be the only one in the room? And on top of that, we brought in 6 engineers. Engineers from Berkeley, engineers from like Sandia Labs. We brought in different types of engineers, Latino engineers, female engineers, male engineers, and these engineers talk to our kids about solar power and wind power and what is a mechanical engineer. So I'm like, no one else is doing this. Who's doing this?
I wish I had that as a kid.
I know, me too. I can't wait for my kids to be of age to get back to the camp. We were early adopters, but we were. I
mean, a 4-year-old, like I think a 4-year-old would be good. It depends on the project.
We're enrolling in the next camp.
Our next camp is going to be human biology. We have some doctors lined up to come. Some medical school students, some doctors lined up to come and talk to our kids. We're going to be really learning about all the body systems. We're going to be building a model lung, a model heart. We're going to be learning about the digestive system, about the brain. We're going to make our own blood. We're going to learn about viruses and bacteria. It's going to be awesome.
I mean, so how old do you have to be? What's your age range, right? Because
our age range is elementary aged kids. We have a lot of homeschoolers, so it doesn't really mean elementary school, and it just depends on your kid. Like we have a kid that's been in every single one of our camps. His name is Leo, and he's been in every single camp, and he just started kindergarten, like September, and he's doing great. So it just depends on the kid. And Leo from Lab Rascals, when he did his little my first day of school, he said he wants to be an engineer. So, and And that was awesome. His mom sent me the picture. She was like, check this out. Now he wants to be an engineer. He said that was his favorite camp. So.
And how often are the camps?
They're every month. So we didn't do a camp in September because it was just so many transitions for parents.
Yeah.
These new schedules. So we just was like, we're not going to do a camp in September. We want our rascals to adjust. We want our parents to adjust. So our next camp will be starting in the first week of October.
And how often do you all meet? Is it just on Saturday? What days of the week do you all meet? How often do you meet?
So we typically meet on Mondays and Thursdays. Mondays and Thursdays. It was like we try to treat it like an after school program.
Okay.
So we were from 4 to 5, but we're doing a poll of our parents right now to see. I'm just a little concerned because a lot of my kids are getting off of the computer at like 3:30. So we're doing a poll of our parents right now to see, should we push the time back, or would they prefer us to do a Saturday and a weekday? A lot of our students are not in school on Wednesdays or early day on Wednesdays.
Okay.
So we have our curriculum and everything. That's why we just haven't put out our registration yet, because we just want to make sure that our rascals are good and our parents are good. Because if they've been on a computer from 9 to 3, I don't want to put them right back on a computer at 4, even though ours is different. It's like, you don't even want to be in that room,
Right.
Yeah.
Break.
That's amazing. So how can people get in touch with you?
If you want to get in contact with me, you can send me an email at info@clublabrascals.com, or I'm on Facebook, Tondalaya Takapu. We have a Facebook Lab Rascals page, Club Lab Rascals, Instagram. You can see us on any of those. You could DM us, or you can send us an email, either or.
Okay.
Any other questions from the audience tonight? We did have one earlier on in the conversation. What program are you following for homeschooling? That was a question.
Oh, so our curriculum follows the Next Generation Science Standards. So that's what we base our curriculum off of. So that's
for your homeschooling. This was earlier.
For homeschooling. Oh, so we use The Good and the Beautiful for phonics and English and grammar. And we use, oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It starts with the S. Our math is, oh my gosh, I can't think of it right now. But it starts with the S. I can't think of it right now, but it's one of the really common ones for math. It's not Singapore math, but it's another curriculum, and it tells you like lesson by lesson, day by day, what to do.
Okay.
I feel like I want to have this conversation. Like, we haven't talked about homeschooling, Tondalaya. I missed this one. We talk about a lot of stuff, but I missed the homeschooling.
We can have. I am
homeschooling. I think about mom sitting at the table with the kids,
right,
all day long doing these lessons, and I'm like, listen, teaching is a ministry that I was not blessed with. And I appreciate the the angels that are on this earth that are our teachers.
Absolutely.
I think if you try to replicate the school system at home, then it could be a challenge. Yeah. But I think everyone that homeschools, they homeschool different. And I think you just do it based on your kids. Like, we do a lot of outside stuff. Like, for example, when we were learning about bodies of water, and we were learning like moving water versus still water, we actually went like to see the Great Falls. So we just went to Great Falls, Virginia, and we watched, the river flow. And I'm like, okay, what do you?
Great Falls.
Yeah, so we went to Great
Falls. I love Great Falls.
And my kids are obsessed with the Potomac River. Anywhere we go, they're like, "Is that the Potomac River?" And I'm like, we're in Virginia Beach. This is the ocean. We live by the Potomac River, so anytime they see a body of water, they think it's the Potomac River. But so we do a lot of learning like that. Like, a lot of times, you are teaching your kid, and you are probably homeschooling your kid, and you're just not writing it down, so you're just not documenting it, so you don't know. So if you're the type to actually just have conversations with your kids, then you're probably learning. And I would encourage parents to have conversations with your kids and just to actually listen to them and hear their crazy stories. Ask them crazy questions like, what do you think it would take to build a car? If you were going to build a car, how would you build it? And see what they say. And then they'll be like, okay, I need some wheels. And I'll be like, well, what shape of wheels do you need? Like, what shape do you think you need? How many do you think you need? Do you think you have a car with one wheel? What is it? Like, do you have a square wheel? And they're like, a square wheel, it might be really bumpy. So it's getting them to think and just hearing them out. So we just have a lot of conversations like that where I just start off with like a random question.
Okay.
And then just see where it goes and kind of feed them to get like one day they said we should put some new lights in our backyard on the deck because we took our old lights down. And I was like, oh, well, what would we need to do that? And one of them was like, Billy, the little one's like, we could do some solar powered lights. Like, oh, that's a good idea. Solar power. I was like, oh, do solar lights work at nighttime? Do they work without the sun? And he was like, no. I was like, do you think we're gonna use our lights in a deck? Do you think we're gonna use it in the daytime or the nighttime? They're like, at nighttime. I was like, oh, so do you still think we should use solar lights? And then they're like, no. It's okay. We're gonna need a light bulb and some string. So like that is homeschool. That like literally walking through that process with your kids, and then maybe you'll look it up on YouTube, or you just that's homeschool. Like just having conversations. It's not just okay, let's sit in front of this table. And actually, it's way shorter. Like it take us to do their lessons for the day like 2-3 hours total. Like that's way shorter than a regular school day.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay.
I follow you on Instagram, and I've seen the things that Lab Rascals, is doing, and I think it's fantastic for the kids. And I've seen the testimonials from the kids, and all of the professionals that you're bringing in. You brought in somebody from like the Weather Channel, Black and brown faces that our kids can see and recognize. Representation is important. There's another question about homeschooling. Look, this is a whole nother conversation.
I'm telling you,
we're about
One more question. Do the kids have to take standardized testing?
Absolutely not. So the only okay. So I forgot this is everywhere. So you need to look up the homeschool standards for your state. It's state regulated. So some states are more lenient. We live in Maryland. So in Maryland, there's two things you can do. You can have the state like kind of oversee your homeschooling curriculum, and then they do I guess it's an inspection, I guess you would call it, but they do a review annually. They do one review annually, or you can choose to be a part of a homeschool umbrella organization, and then they do your reviews. We decided to go with an umbrella, so they do our reviews annually. There's different umbrellas that you can be a part of, but we can't even if I wanted to give my kids a standardized test, I could tell the school district and they would let me, because we live in this county. They have to let us take the test if we just want to test our kids.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in when it's time for them to go to high school, right? If they choose to, do you have to test into the 9th grade, or does the umbrella organization vouch for you to say they finished 8th grade, they're prepared for 9th grade?
So I am new to homeschooling, and like I'm messing with a first grader. So I don't know.
You decide to go into 2nd grade for public school, right? You've been out of the school system for a year. How do they know that your kid is prepared for 2nd grade?
So the umbrella, like they trust these umbrellas, or either the umbrella, like the umbrella sends your child's information over, and they say this is the grade that this child is in. If you're trying to have your child go up a grade, they may test them, but a lot of times they just go by age and by what the umbrella says. So if the umbrella says, so a lot of people, honestly, let's just say, people that have kids that have those September, October birthdays, and the school district won't let them in. So a lot of times they will homeschool that child for the kindergarten at 5 years old with a late birthday, and then just put them in 1st grade. So they won't have to, be a late start. So that is something that people that have kids with late birthdays. And we think because my 4-year-old is he does kind of the same work as his brother. So he's doing 2nd grade math, and he's 4. and he's just doing really good. So we're like, if he was to go to kindergarten, he would get in so much trouble because he already the rambunctious one, that second kid, So he's already the busybody, and he would be bored because the stuff that they would be learning, he would be like, I learned this 2 years ago.
Right.
So we'll see because we're not anti school system, 0%. Like, we don't know if our kids are going to go back. We're happy with the homeschool system now, but we're not like, oh, they're going to stay in homeschool forever. We're just taking 1 year at a time and see how it goes.
Nice.
That's what this time is done. All right. So, Tondalaya, we've come to the point in the show where Tasha does 11 questions kind of inside the actor studio.
Okay.
And first of all, I just absolutely love this conversation. So for all the parents out there, I hope you all got some good information. And I hope that you guys are going to Club Lab Rascals. Get your kids in. I just think it's phenomenal. And I wish I did have it as a kid. But this is the rapid fire questions. And I'm going to let Tasha take it away.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
All right. What's your favorite word?
Excellent.
What's your least favorite word?
Can't.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Love.
Oh.
What turns you off?
Hate. Honestly, negativity.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
What sound or noise do you love?
What sound or noise do I love? That is a hard one. My Cash App going ching.
Yes. What sound do you hate?
I hate the sound of writing on chalkboard. Like, just the chalkboard sound I don't like it.
What profession other than your own? I don't know which is your profession, the cybersecurity or the Lab Rascals. Other than your own, would you like to attempt?
So this is gonna be really funny, but like, I want to learn how to cook. Like, I actually want to learn how to cook. I'm not saying I want to be a chef, but I would go to culinary school just to be better at it.
Okay, duly noted. What profession would you not like to try?
Stripping.
Okay.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
Who or what holds you accountable?
I hold myself accountable. I believe that if I tell myself something, I just need to be true to myself, and I need to look inside of me for everything, like for strength, for patience, for kindness, be kind to myself. So I feel like I hold myself accountable.
All right. And if you believe in heaven, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
A lot of your people in here.
That's the same. I hope the same for me too, right? I hope a lot of my people in there.
Right. I got some friends up in here. The right people on earth.
Well, Tondalaya, I want to thank you again for joining us. You were spreading tremendous light in this world in a particularly complicated time, and you're offering solutions. Like, I respect that. I respect people who, instead of just saying, hey, this isn't right, they're actually doing something about it. So shout out to you for doing that. I'm so proud of what you're doing. If there's anything that we can do to help support it, we're going to continue to do. Just ask. Have no problems doing that. And I'm going to put your website up again for anyone who wants to sign their child up, clublabrascals.com, right? As well as you can find her on Facebook and Instagram at Club Lab Rascals, right? And
that October camp.
Someone had a question about that?
No, I said we're about to bombard that October.
Oh, yes. October is coming. Registration gonna be opening up next week.
Nice.
All right. And For those of you who want to follow Tasha and I, the Accountability Queens, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you guys for joining us. Check us out next week. We'll have something interesting to talk about.
Thank you so much. This was so fun. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good night, guys. Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye.